Okay, so the topics of this is just the objectives and overview of the course, the information on the AWS certification, the documentation, and the scavenger hunt. Okay, those are activities that we're gonna do. Now, after completing this module, okay, you're gonna be able to recognize the purpose of the AWS Academy Cloud Foundations course, recognize the course structure, recognize the AWS certification process, navigate the AWS documentation website. Okay. Now, the first part, okay, it is, important, right, that you have some technical knowledge, okay? Because we're gonna see some technical stuff in class, right? Also, you have some technical or IT business knowledge, because we're gonna see, AWS from the business standpoint as well. Okay? Preferred knowledge, familiar with familiar with the cloud computing concepts. Well, if you're not, you will become. Okay, guys, this is AWS recommendations. I mean, you take this seriously, but don't overthink it. I mean, don't panic if you don't have this. Okay, that's the ideal scenario, but it's not the actual one many times. Okay, for example, for the solutions architect, they tell you that you have to have 1 to 2 years of experience as a cloud architect. That's their preference. That's not mine. Because when I got the certification, I had zero experience as a cloud engineer, right? Or architect. And so did my students. Same thing, and they passed the solutions architect as well. So this is the ideal scenario, but it's not the real one. Okay? Working knowledge of distributed systems, familiarity with general networking concepts, and working knowledge of multi-tier architectures. Of course, if you have this, you're gonna understand the course much, much more easily. Okay. Now, after you finish the entire course, you should be able to define the AWS cloud, what the AWS cloud is. Because there's several providers, cloud providers. So you have a Microsoft, right? You have Google, you have IBM, you have Alibaba. Okay, so you have several cloud providers. They're pretty standard. The knowledge, the idea behind it is the same, right? It's just provides services on the cloud, but they have their particular things that tell them apart, right? And one of them is that AWS is the number one cloud provider in the world. There's no one better than AWS. I can tell you firmly, it's number one. They were the pioneers of this thing called the cloud. It started in 2004. Just thinking about it, they had a conversation. If we offer in this, services, why not rent our platform to other people, right? And that's when they came up with AWS in 2006, right? Before they had Amazon, that has been in the market for many years, in the business for many years, but AWS was founded in 2006. Since then, AWS has grown exponentially. It has decreased the price like 76 times, incredibly, right? And it has grown and grown and grown, grown, grown. And the more it grows, the more discounts it can give to the customers, which is amazing. Okay? You're going to be able to explain the AWS pricing philosophy. AWS has specific pricing philosophy for every single section of the course, like compute, storage, networking, things like that. Identify the global infrastructure components of AWS. Describe the security and compliance measures of AWS, including AWS Identity and Access Management, which is IAM. Right? Create an AWS virtual private cloud, Amazon VPC. We're going to see how to create VPCs, how to create subnets, how to create route tables in a subnet, how to associate a route table with a subnet, how to put a server in a subnet that is public, or how to put a server in a subnet that is private. So we're gonna see all that, okay? And we're gonna demonstrate when to use this guy here, Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, right? When we get to the compute section, we're gonna talk about this guy. This guy is one of the oldest services that AWS have, and it's super good, and it's nothing else than a server in the cloud. Simple. It's a server in the cloud. In other words, it's a virtual machine. Okay, a virtual machine, but the name is Elastic Compute Cloud, and you see here it says EC2 because it has two C's, Compute Cloud. That's why it's called EC2. Okay. We're gonna see AWS Lambda, which is serverless compute service. Serverless is very popular nowadays. Super popular. Many people are moving to serverless architectures, and it's super powerful because you don't have to use. Sorry, sometimes my mouse. You don't have to use a server, which is good. You know, a lot of headaches that you would wouldn't have. This is Elastic, and the other one is Elastic Beanstalk, which is a platform as a service where you can upload the code and they just run it, and it will deploy the application for you. Right? We're gonna differentiate between Amazon S3, EBS, EFS, Amazon S3 Glacier. So we're going to, guys, and part of the class, I mean, it's not part of the class, but I want to give it to you because I want you to be really, really, really prepared for the exam and prepared for what comes after the exam, okay? So I'm gonna create an EFS file for you, which is, EFL system for you, which is so great because I don't know if you have heard about NFS in networking, like network file system. No? Well, EFS is a version of that in AWS, okay? We're gonna demonstrate when to use AWS database services, including RDS, which is a relational database service, and Amazon DB, which is a NoSQL database. Have you ever heard about SQL and NoSQL databases? Never? Okay. So the SQL database for AWS that contains 6 engines, and we're gonna get there, is RDS. And the version of the NoSQL database is DynamoDB. If you've seen a MongoDB before, it's very similar to MongoDB, but it's the AWS version. Okay. Amazon Redshift, which is a data warehouse, right? And Amazon Aurora, which is the AWS proprietary database management system. Okay. We're gonna explain the AWS Cloud architecture principles and key concepts related to elastic load balancing, which is the traffic cop. We're gonna get there. Amazon CloudWatch, a very good guide for automation in AWS and monitoring of your services, super good. Auto scaling is the one that guarantees that your application is always running and not down. Good. Have you ever noticed Netflix down? Have you seen Netflix down?
No.
And if you have, how long was it? I mean, how long was the downtime? How long was it? Probably seconds, right? Probably seconds. Less than a minute, right? Or I can tell you that Netflix is completely in AWS cloud. It was the first company to go all in the cloud. They just moved blindly. Well, I would say blindly because you have to analyze the platform you're moving to, right? But, they decided to go with AWS 100% because they trust AWS. And you can see, when you think about the high availability of AWS, think about Netflix. That's the perfect example. How many times a year will you see Netflix down? That's AWS, okay? I was watching Netflix the day before yesterday and it went down, but it was literally less than 10 seconds. So maybe it goes down, it creates a new server for you with auto scaling, and then you're done. I mean, everything is just up and running like nothing happened, right? Great. So the module one is Cloud Concepts Overview. That's what we're gonna cover today. We're gonna cover this module that we are talking about. This is the introduction of to the cloud, and then we're gonna talk about Cloud Concepts Overview, which is the second one.
Sorry, quick question.
Go ahead.
Could you just repeat what DynamoDB is again, please?
DynamoDB is a NoSQL database. It is a database that works with key value pairs. It's not relational. Have you ever seen MongoDB?
No, but that's okay.
Okay, so DynamoDB query example. You see, DynamoDB works with key value pairs. Okay, and it uses JSON. JSON is a JavaScript object notation. Okay, that's the way you write items and attributes in DynamoDB, and that's what you do in MongoDB as well. Okay, this is the class itself, the object notation. Okay, but it's a little finicky when it comes to curly braces and square brackets. Okay, if it is an array, use square brackets. If it is not an array, use curly braces. So objects are, they are separated by comma. You see comma here. You see objects are separated by comma. So that's just how JSON works, and DynamoDB works with JSON. We're going to talk about DynamoDB when we get to databases. It's super good. It's so fast that it's under the single-digit millisecond. So in less than 10 milliseconds, you will get a response, either okay or something is wrong, but you'll get a response in less than 10 milliseconds. So it's super fast. Okay, it has global tables, so it is highly available. We're gonna see when we get there. Okay, but it's not a traditional relational database when you have tables with rows and columns, and then you have a schema, things like that. AWS doesn't, DynamoDB doesn't have a schema. It's a schema-less table. Right? Okay, so third module is AWS Global Infrastructure. The module 4 is the security. 5, networking and content delivery. Compute is number 6. 7, storage. A database is 8. Cloud architecture is 9. And 10 is automatic scaling and monitoring. Okay. That's what we're going to cover in class. And of course, everything here covers the domains of the exam. Okay, so there's nothing to worry about. Okay. So this is module 1, right? Introduction to cloud computing, advantages of cloud computing, introduction to Amazon Web Services. I'm moving to the AWS Cloud, the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. Okay. We're going to talk about that when we get there. Fundamentals of pricing, total cost of ownership, and billing and technical support. That's module 2. Very useful tool here. The TCO, total cost of ownership, is the one that tells you how much you're going to spend when you get to the cloud if you intend to migrate to the cloud. So it's going to tell you how much it's going to cost. Okay. Module 3 talks about the global infrastructure. We're going to see the differences between regions, availability zones, local zones, edge locations, edge caches, all the things that AWS has in the global infrastructure. Right? We're going to see some services and service category overview. Here, we're going to talk about the shared responsibility model. Like I said before, what is your responsibility? What is AWS's responsibility, right? When you're working in the cloud. The AWS Identity and Access Management IAM. We're gonna see how to create groups, how to create roles, how to create users, how to assign permissions, how to create policies, things like that. That's so important for the access to the account. Okay. We're gonna talk about securing a new AWS account, securing other accounts, securing the data in AWS, and working to ensure compliance. Okay. Here in this section of networking and content delivery, we're gonna see some basics of networking like IP addressing, subnetting, you know, things like that. We're gonna create a virtual private cloud, also known as VPC. We're gonna see the VPC networking section, security of VPC, Route 53, which is a global service for DNS, right? And by the way, it's called Route 53 route because it's named and it's like a highway, and 53 because that's the port that DNS uses, port 53. Okay. And by the way, DNS is domain name service. Okay. Amazon CloudFront, which is a global content delivery network. We're gonna talk about that one too. We're gonna talk about in compute. Just the compute services overview. We're gonna see EC2, which is the server. We're gonna see how to optimize the cost of EC2. Talk about containers. Containers are super important, super popular right now. Talk about Lambda. Lambdas are functions that AWS uses, and it's a serviceless compute service. Talk about AWS being Elastic Beanstalk, platform as a service. And by the way, EC2 is infrastructure as a service, right? And Elastic Beanstalk is platform as a service. Okay. We're going to talk about Elastic Block Store, also known as EBS, right? Simple storage service, S3, Elastic File System as AFS, and Super Storage Service Glacier. Okay, guys, there's so many things that we're going to cover. A lot of information. Relational databases. Here are the S. That's what it stands for. Relational database service. DynamoDB, Redshift, and Aurora. Okay. Of course, we're going to see all the engines that this guy supports, like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Aurora, MariaDB, all those guys. Module 9 is going to be cloud architecture, AWS Well-Architected Framework, also known as WAF, reliability and availability, and AWS Trusted Advisor, which is the expert in the cloud. That's a guy. When I say a guy, sometimes I refer to services as guys. So this guy will tell you recommendations of what to do, what not to do, regarding the cloud, right? So it's a cloud expert. And the last module is going to be, the last load balancing, Amazon CloudWatch, and Amazon EC2 auto scaling. This is so great, guys. This is good stuff, good information for you and for the exam, right? Any questions? No questions?
No questions.
None so far.
Okay.
No questions.
So guys, when we're done with this section here, this PowerPoint, we're gonna make sure that everybody has an account in AWS because we're gonna work with that. Okay. And don't forget that the AWS account is only free for 12 months, right? For 12 months. You're not gonna be charged for that, right? Unless you go, beyond the limits, right? There's a limit. When it comes to EC2, for example, you have 750 hours a month. So you can use that server. You can host the website for 12 months for free, right? Because if you multiply 24 by 30, right, that's going to be like 720 hours. So you can host a website for free for 12 months if you hosted it in an EC2 instance, which is a server. Okay. So I think we spoke about this already, but let's talk about a little bit more, right? So this course helps you prepare for your AWS Cloud Practitioner exam. You know, these are the requirements. This is the ideal scenario here. 6 months of foundational AWS Cloud and industry knowledge. Okay, this guy here. Now, AWS certification helps learners build credibility and confidence by validating their cloud expertise with an industry-recognized credential. And it helps organizations identify skilled professionals who can lead cloud initiatives by using AWS. Okay? So guys, even people who are not technical, they're getting the certification. I know people who worked in an office in AWS as a manager or a coordinator of events, and they had a cloud practitioner certification, because it's always good to have that, especially when you're working for AWS. Okay? It gives more prestige to, the company, more reputation to the company to have certified individuals in the company. Okay? There are even companies that pay you when you get certified. They give you money. There's a company that I worked for a few months, and when I got certified, they reimbursed my certification plus 100% of the price of the certification. So if the certification was 150, I got $300 back. So it was great. Some companies, they really, really, really want to have individuals that are certified. They want to have that. Okay. There's some links here that you guys can see. I think that when you find this page here that I posted on, did I post that page on Slack? Because it was 150, I got $300 back. So it was great. Some company. Okay. Did I, guys? Did I?
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
You posted the exam guide, but not this page.
Okay, 1 moment. Let me post that. Okay. So that's the page. I posted right now. Okay. Guys, if you can have a certification in advanced networking or security or big data, that's great. That's awesome. Okay. If you are into networking, get the basics, and then go for one of these certifications here. If you're into networking or security or big data. Okay. Machine learning is a little more complicated because the machine learning it's machine learning. It's not our language. It's not a programming language. It's machine learning. It's how the machine thinks. Okay. And AWS has services that deal with that. Okay. Okay. So the AWS documentation, right? Now we have white papers, and I think that they're here. If you scroll up, probably you can find somewhere here that I posted white papers. Right here. All right. So I posted here the docs. They're here. Documentation, white papers. I'm gonna pin this guy. I'm gonna pin this guy. Okay. Here we have the documentation. Okay. Right. Take a look at this guy, because this guy, even though we don't cover them in the course, because they're not part of the course, okay? We may see some of them, but not all of them. They're not included in this certification, right? Even though they're not in the course, they may show in the exam. So take a look at them, right? Take a look at them and try to see what they're for, what they're used for, at least, right? Try to understand that so that you can disregard them in the exam, okay? The exam, I don't think they're gonna test you on this because it's not an exam. But we may see life cycle policies for S3 buckets. We may see Route 53. Other services are here. Probably I'm going to mention some of the code commit, code deploy, code pipeline, Cloud 9.3, code build. I've mentioned those guys, but they're not part of the course. So keep an eye on this. This is important. I posted here for a reason. Okay. Good. So you can take a look at that particular thing. Okay. Okay. So let's do an activity real quick. Let's go to the docs, right? Let's go to the docs right here, right? What time is it? It's 10:18. So we're gonna have a break. Let's have a 10 minutes break, and when we come back, we'll do this activity. Okay? How about that?
Sounds
It's
good.
okay.
Do you have any questions? No questions?
No question.
No question.
I have a question. Sorry.
Go ahead, please.
I just signed in because the whole time I didn't know that it was a Zoom. I was on the Blackboard. I'm noticing that you're using Slack. My sign-in information, is it what I received from the MDC website?
No, Slack is different.
No, I get that. I know what so how am I going to get access to all these links that you're looking at here? I can download Slack. I just want to know what I need to sign in with. To get all
Do you
this.
have access to Slack?
Excuse me?
Do you have access to Slack?
I just downloaded it now.
Good. Once you're in, if you click on this, you go to the main channel, MDCC Cloud Practitioner. If you click on this,
No, what I'm saying is I don't have access. I don't know if I have access to the Miami-Dade College Slack channel.
no, this is my channel. This is
Oh,
not
it's good.
Miami-Dade. This is not Miami-Dade. This is my channel.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I can give you the link. I'm gonna post it on the chat, and then you can sign up
You're gonna post it on the Zoom chat?
in the chat of Zoom. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So it's posted right now. Once you are there, there's a channel named MDCC Cloud Practitioner, right?
Okay.
Click on the pin section, right? And then it's gonna take you to this section here on the right side. This is the section where your PowerPoints are gonna be, right? And this is the section where your Zoom link is gonna be for every single session in our class. It's the same link.
Okay.
Okay. So everything's gonna be there.
All right.
Okay, guys. So let's meet back here at 10:30. Okay.
Are we back?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we're back.
Yes, we are back.
Yep, we're here.
Okay, so let's do an activity real quick, right? Let's find the information in this. Just take a look at this documentation, right? The link is, one moment. The link is in the main channel, right? Right here is pin in the pin section, right? And then there are gonna be 5 questions for you guys in the next slides. Okay, so you have the slides, right? So you can probably take a look at the questions, and then we're gonna discuss the answers in class. Now, I'm gonna split the class into teams. Right? We're gonna do this for probably 10 minutes, no more than that. 10 minutes. Okay. And then as a team, we're going to discuss that. Right? So the teams are going to be chosen randomly. Right? So as a team, we're going to work on this. Okay. I'm going to split the class right now. Does anyone have a question? No?
No.
Okay.
I have a question. I don't see the link.
It's on Slack.
Okay, Slack under Cloud Practitioner.
Yes.
Okay. And
In the pin sections, click on the pin section. You see my screen? Right here.
let's see.
And
Oh, hang
then,
on one second. Let me get back to you. Okay, where is it at again?
so here in the pin section, under the name of the channel, pin, it's going to be the
Okay.
first link.
Okay. Under white papers?
No, it's
Hey,
the one that's
Is it docs.aws.amazon?
correct.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now accept the invitation to join the group. Right?
The invitation. That I'm not seeing.
You don't see it?
Where would it say that?
Okay, let
I'm looking
me.
at your screen.
Okay, it's in Zoom. You don't see an invitation there in Zoom?
I may have already done it. I mean, I do see I was able to click on the link. I don't see anything that says join.
Okay. What's your name? Everybody's assigned to the room.
So I'm in it. So I'm okay.
Huh?
What I see is the guides. I see the guides and the API references. Should I now be in tutorials and projects or?
Yeah.
Okay, now I see join. Okay, it's up here now. Breakout rooms and join.
Right.
Breakout room 3.
Right.
All right. Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Oh, that's cool.
Still says 3 participants.
Right, that's what I'm seeing too. I mean, all right, everybody's coming back in now.
We're back.
Mute my microphone.
All right. Okay.
Question and
Hello.
don't pay attention to
Okay.
answer, and you go and check the documentation to answer it, and then you check. That's what I
Okay.
understood.
Okay, I think that we are back to the
Yeah.
To the main one.
to
So,
the
Professor, what was the idea? Just to create an account, or move forward and create a bucket?
No, just create an account. We're gonna do some operations now with the account, just to create.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. I went a little forward. My bad.
Not a problem. Okay, we're gonna create the account. We're going to install the CLI, the AWS CLI, and we're going to create some things from the CLI and from the console, the management console. Well, guys, so I'm gonna let someone share the screen, right? And share the screen, and then guys, you can, one person from one team, you can just tell me your findings. Tell me about your findings. I'm gonna allow any person to share the screen. So at least one representative per team. And then we can discuss question by question. For example, the first one is what guides and references exist for the Amazon EC2 service. So can someone share the screen and share that with us, please? Thank you. So let's just discuss the question number 1. Right.
Slide 25.
I think it's 24. So the answers are there. You can take a look at the answers, but I want to see how you find it. Let's imagine that the answer doesn't exist, right? So to find that, what do you do?
Search on Google first.
In compute, go to EC2. Who is showing? Can
Go to
go
EC2,
to Play2.
Javier.
EC2.
Click
In
on
the
EC2.
compute.
There you go. And there are the answers.
Okay.
Those are all the guides.
So guys, whenever you have a question about EC2, you want to know more information about it. And by the way, like I said before, Elastic Compute Cloud is a server in the cloud. Okay. is the virtual machine that AWS uses, right? Whenever you have a question about that, you can use that link that I posted on Slack and the link that you guys are using now to find information about that service, okay? And not also do you find EC2, you can also find EC2 auto scaling, right? We should be there somewhere, auto scaling. And you can find another topic, which is migrate to Amazon EC2. Okay. So the documentation, the white papers are super important for the exam. In fact, AWS recommends reading the documentation and the white papers for every single exam, not for this one only. Okay. Very good. Okay. Anyone else want to share about the second question? So in the first question, we can find the user guides for Linux and Windows, because you can create Linux servers and Windows servers. You can create API references, right? API references, right? And AWS CLI references, EC2 instance connect references, user guide for auto scaling, and the virtual machine import and export user guide. So we can use all that, okay? Sorry about the person that was sharing. Can you share again, please? So now we have the second question, which is, can you find the documentation that describes how to create an Amazon S3 bucket?
Couple of ways. So you can go directly into the documentation under session storage. You have S3. You can always do that. Or go up here, search for S3. You'll get everything, every single thing that has to do with S3.
What the heck?
Hello?
So what information can we find there?
So on S3, so you have your very basics, introduction to the service. The console user guide. You have this section down here that it's a little bit different than this actual service. This is more for like cold storage.
Mm-hmm.
So look into that. Yeah.
Good. So we can find getting started guide. And also you can create a bucket there. It teaches you, it tells you how to create a bucket. Okay. Creating a bucket is the second link. And then you can see how to create a bucket. And by the way, a bucket is a container. It's like a container where you can store objects, right? And when I say objects, I mean assets. And when I say assets, I mean images, files, snapshots, backups, things like that. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Question number 3. Can you find a one-sentence summary for the AWS Cloud9 service? Can someone share the screen, please? So based on your findings, what is Cloud9?
A way to develop software in the cloud?
Correct. So in other words, Cloud9 is an IDE. It's integrated development environment, like VS Code, like Eclipse for Java, like Notepad++, things like that. It's a text editor, right? Where you can create things. When you launch a Cloud9 environment, it will create an EC2 instance for you because it works with, even though it's serviceless, the service is serviceless, but it uses a VM in the background. Okay.
Yeah, here is that we find what is AWS, yeah?
Yeah.
9, iCloud-based integrated development environment that write on the book code.
Yeah. It's pretty good, but I prefer to use VS Code, for example. Yeah, you have to know how to use Cloud9. It's a little peculiar. It's not the same as others, but it's in the cloud, okay, which is good. And it's already integrated with IAM and integrated with CloudWatch and different services, right? Good. So the next one is number 4. Which programming languages that does the AWS Lambda Service API support? Can someone share the screen, please? Anyone? Nobody else? Good. So what are the languages?
If I don't remember, it's C#, Java, Python.
Go.
And Node.js. And there was another one. I found a list somewhere else.
PowerShell, Ruby.
PowerShell, yeah. What's PowerShell? I don't know what that is.
PowerShell is a shell that Windows has.
Ah, PowerShell. Okay, I know what PowerShell is. Okay.
It's a command line, you know. Yes. So there you can find different things related to Lambda, like an API reference. We saw it. Getting started. Then you click on tools, and then you can find a list of languages like Node.js, which is a JavaScript runtime environment, Java, which is an object programming language, C# is an object programming language, Python is an object programming language, Ruby is an object programming language, Go is the language for Google, and PowerShell, which is a shell that, you know, Windows uses. Okay. So Lambda uses all those languages. Okay. It supports all those languages, right? So the next one, number 5, is find the tutorial that describes how to run a serverless hello world application, then scroll through the documented steps. What 2 AWS services does the tutorial have you used? Or probably none, okay? I just want to know what you did.
Hello, so here we are.
Yeah, you click on that.
So on tutorials, then click on Run a Service Hello World, and then you have the information.
Nice, right? Nice. It's super easy to create a Lambda function that returns hello.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. Did everybody create an account?
Yes, I do have my account.
Yeah. Did anyone have any problems creating an account?
No, I have my account.
Nice. So it's good to understand, you know, how to use the services in AWS, because that's going to help you for your exam. Okay. All right, so this is the wrap up of this module, which is very short. It's just the introductory module, right? So in summary, in this module, you learn how to recognize the purpose of the AWS Academy Cloud Foundations course. Recognize the course structure, right? And recognize the AWS certification process. Navigate the AWS documentation website. And here you have some additional resources that you guys can check. Let me see if I put them here on Slack. I think that they are pinned here. Okay, let me see if I can. No, I pasted that one. I posted that one already. This one I did too. You can find it there. And this one, documentation, is the one that we just checked. Okay, so all there on Slack. Okay, and that's it for this module. So let's get a few things done, right? A few things done with the account, right? So I'm gonna bring my AWS account here, and we're going to just sign in, right? Sign into mine, and I have MFA. Just a second layer of security for my account. That's something that you guys need to understand as well, that MFA is for, you know, securing your account even more.
Professor, do we need to be logged in as root? Because I'm logged in as IAM. I don't like being logged in as root. So
okay, who's this?
This is Javier Cabeza.
You're the one that works with AWS?
Yeah.
That is why. That is why you don't use the root account, because I believe the root account is a production account, right?
That's right.
That's why. But in this case, as we are just in class, you can use the root account. Okay. If you have one. Okay. So yes, AWS never recommends using the root account. In fact, they recommend disabling the keys or removing the keys, deleting them. They want you to create an IAM user so that you can use the IAM user and not the root account. Okay. So that's why we're going to follow, you know, best practices in AWS, and we're going to go to IAM. So guys, here, when it says find services, right? You can type IAM. There's another way as well, right? You can click here on services and type IAM here. Okay. You can find it here. There's another way. You can come down here, what it says security, identity, and compliance, and find IAM. There is another way. You can just select here the star, click on the star, making your favorite, and it's going to be here forever as your favorite. Okay, so 4 different ways to find that service or any other service in AWS. Okay, for now, please click on the star and make it a favorite, making your favorite, and then come here and select it. Click on it, and then it's going to take us to IAM. This is the IAM section, the Identity and Access Management section. Okay. Now we're going to come here where it says users, right? Users. And then we're going to add a user, right? But first, guys, let's create a group, because it's good practice to create a group, give the group access, and then put the user inside the group. That's the best practice, okay? Because you don't want to give permission to every single user that is added to your account. You want to just add the user and put the user in a group, and the group already contains the permissions, okay? So we're gonna create a group. Let's come here to group. And then I already have administrator 1 and 2, and I have a lot of, so I'm gonna delete these guys. Okay, so in your case, guys, you're going to create a group and name it administrators, right? In my case, I'm going to say 1 because I already have administrators, okay? You cannot have 2 groups with the same name. So administrators like this, and then you come to here, say click on next step, right? And then we're going to find what it says administrator access right here. Select this one, or you can type here administrator, and it's the first one here. Okay, so I'm gonna click that. If you click on administrator access, it's not clickable. We'll see later, don't worry. So now we continue. Next step. Now we create the group now. Okay, that's it. And the group is created. It's right here. If you click on the group, this group does not contain any users. I understand that. You click on permissions. If you click on this policy, you're going to see that the policy contains a JSON file, right? Every policy in AWS is a JSON file, right? A JSON document. The policy is a JSON document that either grants permission or denies permission, right? Allowed or denied, okay? So this group is allowed to do everything in every resource, right? Just to work in any resource, and the actions, they can do anything, right? So they're allowed to perform any operation on any resource, okay? So this star is a wildcard that represents everything, okay? That's what the star represents, okay? So now we created the group, the group. Now we go back to users, right? And we add a user. So far, so good, guys?
Are we supposed to do this along with you, or because, or are we gonna watch you complete in?
If you do it with me, it's better.
Okay, so you're gonna stop so we can just catch up, or?
Okay, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna delete the group, okay? I'm going to create the group again. So you come here where it says groups, right? You click on create new group. Then here, you're gonna give it a name. In your case, it's administrators. My case, administrators 1, because I already have a group with the name administrators, okay? Next step, we're gonna find the one that says administrator access right here, okay? And then we click on it and we continue. We just select it and we continue. Next step. Now everything is here, just a review, the summary, and then you create the group, okay? Group is created right here. It doesn't have any user now. Good. So every single user that you create now, you don't have to give them any permission. You just put them here. And the permission that the group has will be inherited by the users. Okay, so everyone inside this will get the permissions of the administrators group. Okay, so now I'm going to create a user. I click on users, add a user here, and give it a name. Let's say Antonio. Just the name. You can give it a name you want. Okay. Okay.
Wait, where did you go to add a user? You click on the user one, or you still click on a group one?
User. Click on users, and then add the user. Okay. Give it any name you want, Antonio. Right. And then you're gonna give access to Antonio both programmatically, which means let's work from the CLI. Okay, and also the console. It means that they can sign in to the console, to whatever you see here, and then do what they need to do. right? So we're gonna select both. Okay, guys, you can either auto-generate a password as we are using this guy, right? As you're already using this guy as your user, create a custom password. Okay, just give it any password you want that you can remember, because the good practice is to use this guy instead of the root account. Okay, so give it any password you want, right? And if you create the password, unclick this, because this will force you to reset the password when you sign in. If you create a custom password here, don't click this. If you are auto-generating the password, yes, keep this one clicked, okay, or checked. Okay, so it's your choice, right? But don't forget the username and the password, right? If it is auto-generated, not a problem. If it is custom, remember it. Okay, so next permissions, and then we're gonna put this user in the group that we created. Okay, remember, mine is 1, yours should be administrators. Okay, so I'm gonna next tag. I don't need this for now. Next, review. And then here we check that everything is correct. My password is auto-generated. Yours should be probably custom. Mine is, it will reset the password for the next sign in. There's no permission boundary. And I have the policies here. The policy says that I have administrators permissions, and also I can change my own password. Okay, whenever I want.
Where did you set that part? Because I didn't see that.
That comes with it by default.
Okay, so in mine it just shows group. It doesn't show that feature there.
Okay.
Mine too. It says just group administrator. That's it.
Oh, it's because you did auto-generate, not custom. That's why you see that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And also,
okay.
And also, I have this policy because I said user must create a new password as next sign in.
Okay.
That's why this policy has to be attached to that.
Okay.
If it is not attached, the person cannot change the password at that moment. Okay. Next.
Hey, Professor.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I lost the link on the Zoom meeting for a while, and I got back into it. I've already set up my account, and I'm not sure where we are at this point once the account has been set up, to be honest with you. So I don't know if maybe about to pick up that.
We created a group, right?
I'm not sure how we got to this dashboard though. Is this, I see on the screen.
This is IAM.
Okay, I see services, right?
IAM, yeah. Manage access to AWS resources. You click on that. You click on that on IAM.
Wait a minute, let me find IAM. I'm not sure about IAM. So I'm on AWS services. Should I be in services and then search for IAM? Should I type in
IAM? Yes.
Type in IAM?
Yes. Click on it.
Hang on one second. Okay, IAM. Okay. Wait a minute. Something's happening here. Okay. IAM dashboard.
That's right. So now you create a group.
Create a group. Okay. Let's see, groups.
Now,
group. So what name are we using?
Use administrators. Administrators. Okay. I'm using administrators 1 because I already have an administrator. Okay. Administrator.
Okay. Is that the full name or just admin 1?
You can use admin. You know, whatever you want. What matters is the policy that you attach to the group. Okay. And the policy is going to be administrator access. So just type administrator. And then you have administrator access. Okay. So you check this and continue.
Okay.
See, there's the review here, review it, and then create group.
Oh, Okay, administrator. Okay, I have that
Okay,
policies.
now you create the user. Click on user.
So, okay, so go ahead and create group and then create users. Okay.
Now add user.
Okay, add user.
Now give it a name.
Any name?
Any name you want. Is your user.
I'm just gonna put my first name, whatever.
Yeah. Here we select this because we're giving access from the CLI, the API, the SDK to the person, to the user, and also access to the console, which is this. The console is this, right?
Okay, so check both boxes.
You can auto-generate the password or just put the password you want. I would recommend putting the password here.
Sorry. So I went back. You see the part on the bottom where it says where you have the IAM user change password policy?
Mm-hmm.
That's not listed in mine.
Because you didn't check it. Do you check?
I went back and checked it, and it's still the same thing. It's not listed. So you see how but you see how when you're looking at your screen, you see the option you see that writing on the bottom, user automatic. That I don't even see that. I only see the first line. I only see user must.
Okay, but you don't need that because if you create a custom password, I mean, did you check this?
No, what I'm saying is this is on your policy. When you go to the next policy, right?
Oh, because I said this.
Yeah, no. Let's say if you wanted to give the user the ability to change the password, this user that I'm creating does not have the permission to change the password. That's what I'm saying. Whether you clicked it or did not, whether you chose to have it or not, that feature is not available. So you know how when you if you go all the way, continue over, and then you have that policy. So you choose that, and you choose that. So yeah, that manage policy does not show up for me at all. It's not even available for me. So I don't know if that matters or
Want to share your screen?
That's weird because I'm on a different computer. Do it again. Hold on, give me a moment. It's kind of hard for me to share my screen because I'm actually using it on another Mac and I'm on Windows. So if you want, I'll start over and do that. AWS, let me sign in. All right. Give me a moment. I'm going to sign in and then I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Can you create a new user?
Excuse me?
Can you create a new user?
Yes. Hold on.
I am. Type I am there. That's fine. Okay, delete the user that you have now. Delete the user. And create a new one.
This is from a different course I did.
Okay. Create a new one.
Yeah, let me go.
Okay, first create a group that's administrator.
Yeah, that's created already.
Okay.
So go into.
Okay. Okay.
Not there. So even if I set it to, if you notice how in yours it says it, mine doesn't.
Are you using the old console or the new console?
How do I tell the difference?
I think it's the same one. They haven't changed the console. I haven't noticed any difference in the console of IAM.
Yeah, so this is the group that I just created.
Okay, but don't worry about that. I mean, it will happen because it allows you to change the password in the next signing. maybe because I think I have a password policy created, and I think let me share my screen. One more. I think I created a password policy somewhere here in the account settings. I think I have a password policy. See, I think I do. Enforce minimum of 4. Require least enable password expiration.
Yeah, so your opponent says allows the user to change their own password. That's not been checked for you.
Allow users to change their own password. So you can click on that and save the changes. And then whatever user you create after this, they will be enforced to have this. Okay. So now you can create a user.
Professor, are we supposed to add Antonio? Are we supposed to just make up a name?
Yeah.
No. It's this is, I mean, I would put my name, but I already have my name. This is a sample user for you guys to know how to do it.
Okay, we're not adding anyone though.
Yes, you are, but I already have my user. So you have to create a user with your name, right? So you can identify it. I'm creating a user for you guys so you can see how to do it. I'm not gonna put Dunieski because I already have Dunieski. So I put Antonio. Like I can put Carlos if I want to. Okay. So now I don't see it. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's what I'm saying is that it wasn't there either. So I don't know if.
But don't worry.
It doesn't even matter.
Don't worry. If you have that particular policy in place, the person can change the password. All right. So now, as I'm not creating this user, I would say auto-generated. But guys, if you're creating this user, for you to use, just create a password here, and don't check this because you don't want to, create a password again when you sign in. All right. So.
Oh, you're saying that when we create a username, this is about us. It's not about adding other people at this point.
Correct.
Okay, so you have already.
For now.
Right.
If you want to give access to users under you, right, you have to do this for every user.
Okay.
And then give the permission, based on the role. In this case, I'm giving permission as administrator to Carlos. But if the person only is going to work with S3, you give the person access to S3 only. That's it. No more than that. Carlos, I'm giving access to everything because it's administrator. Okay. So the policy is the one that allows or denies access. Okay. I attach the policy to the group, to the administrators group, that has to do with all the things that you can do in AWS.
Right? I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when I'm creating my user, the little the next button for permissions doesn't light up.
It doesn't. Okay, because you're missing something. You're missing something here. If you miss something like the username, or something.
It has a username and everything, but
Okay, username and everything. Did you click these two guys?
Yes.
Okay, if you don't click both, it doesn't, at least one, it doesn't show. Okay. It doesn't show?
No.
Wow. Okay. Share your screen, please, real quick.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on?
Okay. Oh, okay. It's showing. Never mind.
Okay.
I think it was a weird error where it was just gray.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. No, there we go. Whenever you click custom password, it doesn't show.
Okay. Until you create the password, right? Until you create the password, you have to create the password, and then it shows. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good. So now, auto-generated. If it is auto-generated, guys, click here because that's a very weird password. So let that user, generate, their own password. Okay. So next permission, put the user in a group, right? Put it in the group, administrators, whatever you created, guys. And then next tags, don't put anything here. Not good for now. We don't need to use this, right? Maybe we can say department administrator. Just an example. It's just optional, right? Or maybe not department, maybe role. It's just a key and a value.
Professor.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Going back one page, it says require password reset. Should that box be checked?
Well, it all depends whatever you want, right? You want the user to create another password when they sign in the next time. If it is custom, if it's auto-generated here, you should let them choose their own password because this is going to be very strange. A bunch of characters that are hard to remember. So let the user create their own password when they sign in using this password.
Okay, so when we created the console password, whatever that is, was that in reference to, so that was in reference to the user. In this case, I use myself. So the next time I come back in, I'll have to create a new password?
No, because when you create a custom password, you uncheck this.
Okay, so that was the console password.
Right.
And the next name is require password reset. So this is for anyone other than my username, for example.
Not exactly. It depends on what you choose. If you auto-generate a password, you have to let the person choose their own password because this is very weird.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'm looking at, let me just go back up to the top again when it says add user and you create a username. Should we also be adding another user?
No. For now, it's only you, okay. Because the best practice is to create a user for you with complete access and forget about the other one. Don't use the other one. That's not good practice. Don't use the root account. Use an I am user. I
guess at this point, I'm just a little bit confused about the reset, require password reset. So that has nothing to do with this, with what I just created. It has to do with additional users.
No, for every user that you create, for this one too.
Okay, so that's my question.
Yeah.
For example, would I have to create a new password?
Mm-hmm.
So even though I created one this time, I'll still have to, every time I go on, I'll have to recreate.
No. The next signing only.
Okay.
Signing. When you create a user, it's the next signing after the creation of this user. If you create another user, the same is going to happen for every single user. Then when you create your own password, you don't have to do it again. It's just the next signing.
Okay. So I've done that. So I'm going to go to next permissions.
Permissions, choose the group.
I do have a question.
Straight one.
If you allow me, in the tags tab, which is a key value per, the purpose of that is just add metadata into the user to be consumed maybe through an API and get more information of the user?
It's just a tag, I am is free. You don't pay for I am, right? But for other services, it's good to tag them because that's gonna help you with the cost. It's gonna help you identify the resources quicker. Okay? Tags here are optional. You don't have to put them, and you don't pay for I am. So I mean, you may want to use tagging, right? But it's not helpful when it comes to cost, because IAM is free, right? But for other resources, tagging is super important. Okay, super important. Maybe you want to find the administrators, users. Tagging is going to help you to do that. Is to identify that. You can use tags to organize, track, and control access for this user. Right? So tags can include information such as email addresses,
Got a knife?
descriptive, such as a job title. That's why I put here role, administrators. Right? Just to identify them. Okay?
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
Here, this is just a review. You review it, and then you create the user, and the user is created. Now, very, very, very important, guys. When you get to this page, very important. Two things. First, this is the link that the user is going to use to sign in. Keep that link safe somewhere. It's not going to be the same link that we use for the user, for the root user, which is aws.amazon.com. It's not going to be the same, right? It's not going to be the same. This one is going to be similar, but it's going to contain the sign-in section and the user, the root user, right? Which is Dunieski Otano, as you can see here in this corner here, the top here, right-hand side, Dunieski Otano. That's the root user. So this is going to contain, because that's the link that identifies your account. Okay? And that, when you paste this in the browser, your account number is going to show, and then the browser can identify where you're going, right? Second thing is that here we have the secret access key and the password is right here, as well as the access key ID. Okay, so you can send an email here, right? You can send an email, and like it doesn't pop up because probably this is Outlook or something, right? But it doesn't matter. You can just generate, or you can create a template and send the password to your users, right? Send the password to your user. Please encrypt this email, the email you're sending, make it safe, because this is the password to access to your account. So be careful. We have these two guys, the access key and the secret key. Keep a hold of these guys, because we're going to use them for the CLI. The CLI, to log into your account from the CLI, the command line, you have to have the access key ID and the secret access key. Otherwise, you cannot log in. Okay? So right away, real quick, let's download the CLI for AWS. Okay? So download. If you have a Mac, it's going to be a breeze. It's going to be super easy. If you have Windows, maybe a little more complicated. Okay? So installing the CLI, right? So here we have.
Wait, before I can catch up.
Yeah, please go back.
Download the CLI for Windows. Install CLI Windows 2. Let's see here. I'm gonna provide the link, guys.
Are we downloading version 2?
Okay. So yes. So here you can find the link for guys. I need to split the class again, the Windows and the Macs for one side and the Windows for the other, because I want you guys help each other. I mean, that's important. And then for Mac. Mac. Guys that have Mac, do you have Brew installed? Homebrew? No? Homebrew?
No, no.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to have Homebrew. I mean, that's important. If you have a Mac, having Homebrew is important to install packages, right? CLI. Okay. This is the way it is. Linux, Windows. So if you have Linux, then you have Mac. Okay. Very similar. Installing the CLI version 2. Okay. There you go. Here, Linux, Mac, Windows. Okay. So I'm gonna replace that link that I put there. I think this is for Windows. So I'm gonna put the general one, right? This is the general one. Okay, guys. And I want to know who has a Mac computer so I can divide the class properly. Okay. So, okay. So I'm gonna have 2 teams, right? And then I guess that there are less Mac users than Windows. So guys, just give me the Mac users so that we can finish earlier. No, don't give me the Windows, just the Mac. Because I believe that there are less Macs than Windows. It's always like that. And then I can create groups for that. Only two people with Mac?
3, I think so.
Okay, Joe, can you put it on Slack, please? Okay, John, which one are you using most? Mac?
Well, I'm actually using both at the same time. That's okay.
Okay,
You can set
you're using one for Zoom and one for AWS?
Yes, correct.
Which one are you using for AWS?
Right now.
Which one? Oh, the Mac? Okay, good. Guys, anyone else with Mac? Only 3 people?
We have 4, Professor. Jen, Ileana, Javier, and myself, Jorge.
Okay, good. Okay. So I'm gonna put you in one team. Okay. Okay, good. So I have Jorge Javier, Jorge Silva, and Javier Cabrera. Cabeza. And Ileana. And then John. Okay. So I'm gonna put like 7 people per room. And then guys, you can help each other. One person can share the screen and the other ones can just work at the same time, right? And I'm gonna split the class right now. I'm gonna be going around, because I wanna make this, done as soon as possible. Okay, I'm gonna open the room now. Javier, Jomet, can you join? Gregory Whitley, Adriano Herrera, can you join?
Ahora estoy en este. ¿Qué es este? ¿Qué es esto? Estoy en un grupo, estoy en el otro, estoy en todas partes. Yo esto no lo entiendo. Yo esto no entiendo este cuarto. Paso de un cuarto a otro.
No, I mean, the purpose of the breakout room is just separate everybody in just one room. And when you leave the breakout room, you go back to the main room. So eventually, everybody is going to jump into this main room.
Wait, Michael, I no understand.
Oh man, I wasn't finished. Except for okay.
Yeah, I got an error with that package, Jorge.
Okay, guys.
What happened? Did it give you an error?
No, I couldn't install anything.
It doesn't install at all, or what does it say?
When the package says the installer has found an error, please contact your software manufacturer. So I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, guys, so this is my CLI here. Okay. Okay. This is my CLI here.
Okay, I was able to install.
So you guys are back?
Yes, we are back.
Yes.
Okay, so if you type AWS now like this, you should get this thing here, like something is missing, but you don't get like this. For example, if I put AWR, I don't get command not found. Okay, so you get this. It means that it's installed successfully. Or you can say which AWS, and then you get this one. All right. Of course, this is a Mac computer. Yours should be different if it's Windows. Okay. So now that we have installed in our computers, what we have to do is just type AWS configure. AWS configure, right? And now when you hit that, it's going to ask for your access key ID. Remember that that is in your AWS account here, right? So copy this guy, and paste it here. In my case, I already have my own keys, right? In your case, as this is a new configuration, just put your key here and hit enter.
How do you go back to that key if you miss that page? So like
so what you can do is, okay, you have to create a new key again. So you have to come here to IAM, go to the user, and then when it says security credentials, we have to create another key access key.
Okay.
And then it will give you 2 new ones.
Okay. So I need to copy that key, not the secret key. Copy the access key ID, right?
Yeah. Copy and paste it here.
Okay.
And hit enter. And then the secret access key, hit enter. And then guys, the region, the default region is US East 1, which is Northern Virginia. That's okay. That's fine. And then the output is going to be JSON. Okay. I think it's the one by default. You don't have to do anything. Hit enter. And then your CLI is configured to perform actions on your account.
So sorry. You said if it says none, it's okay, because my region doesn't have anything at all.
No, if it has one, just use US East 1.
Okay, just type US East 1.
And then JSON. If it doesn't have anything, just type JSON. Because JSON is the format that is going to give you when you create a resource. Right?
Good.
Hello, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am very sorry. I do apologize. I just did the class. I was just registering today, so I've missed some parts. Is there a quick way I can to look up the things that you did before, so I can get myself here and continue on?
Yeah, Howard, you're breaking up, but I can't understand what you're saying. So if you come here to YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the channel that I have, right? My channel here. So the channel, this guy's gonna post this. I think is I think it's video subscriber. I think it's probably this. If I put this, I still get that. Perfect. I'm gonna put this on slide. Okay, guys, this is gonna be the channel. So this is the class channel. Okay. Click here. Okay. So I'm gonna put this here. Right? Channel name is Tech Greatness. Okay. And then I'm gonna paste the link also there. Okay. So now, guys, you can see this guy here. Right? I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm going to pin it. It's pinned here, guys. Right? This is the channel, just in case you missed the class, how you can watch it again. And there's a bunch of videos here that you can watch if you want to. Videos of all the classes that I've taught, you know.
Oh, wonderful.
And Java, Cloud Practitioner, Azure Fundamentals, Solutions Architect, Java, things like that you can watch if you want to. Okay. Okay, so Howard, answer your question. Answer.
Yes. Yes. So I follow that, and I basically that'll bring me up to speed. You have all of the videos of everything that you've done already, so I can do that kind of on my own time, and we can continue. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, and I do apologize.
You're welcome. So guys, once you have this,
Professor.
Go ahead.
This is Jorge. So I'm creating the credentials. I mean, try to log in the AWS by CLI, but I got an error when I don't know if it's the default region or what. If you like, I can share my screen.
Go ahead.
Okay. Share screen. So basically, here you go. So I put the keys.
US East US-East 1.
East-1.
Right. And then Jason.
And then Jason. Permission denied.
Denied. Okay. Is that the correct? Did you put the correct ID, keys ID? Did you give permission for the CLI? My question is if you selected programmatic access. Because if the user doesn't have programmatic access, you cannot access that. Okay. Just get the user, bring the user from AWS. Okay.
Here's the user.
The user. That's the group. Click on the user. Okay. Click on that. No, click on it. Okay. Permission. Okay. Security credentials. Check there. Okay. Console password enable. Okay. Okay. Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Give me 1 second. Then my question is if you gave that guy access programmatically. Because if you didn't check that, the user would never be able to log in the CLI, through the CLI. That is
So I follow every single step that you shared with us.
And what are you getting that's access denied? That's not supposed to happen. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. Can you create access keys again and try different access keys? Just create access keys and try new ones. Try those. Okay. That's the access key. Try this. Okay.
Okay.
And don't share the screen while you do that. Don't share the screen while you do that because that's your, your account, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you delete that and create another one later. Right.
Let me try with this one.
Quick question. Once you complete the configure profile option, how do you double check that everything is fine with that profile?
What profile? Your user?
Yes, the what we are doing here is configuring the AWS command line using a specific user information, right?
Yes.
Once that passed through, how we can double check that what we did is correct?
By creating a resource. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do now.
Okay.
But I need to know if George, do you get that done?
No, I'm still working, but go ahead, continue. I will let you know if I need some assistance, okay?
So we are here in the CLI. Now, there's one section here that is S3, okay? S3. It's the list of buckets, right? It's a list of buckets that you have, right? So those are buckets, and I have objects inside the buckets, right? I have obviously like exception 3, PNG, things like that. Now, I'm gonna create a bucket from the CLI, and we're gonna make sure that it works. So always, every single command in AWS starts with AWS, right? Every command, every resource that you want to create, the command line it starts with AWS, right? And then the service that you are working on, we're working S3, so we put S3, right? S3, right? Now, I'm gonna create a bucket. So that's make bucket, right? Make bucket. Now, the next step is the URL of the bucket. In that case, is the name. Let me say Saturday. Guys, just put something that is related to you. Don't put the same as I put, because a bucket name is unique globally, okay, in the entire AWS infrastructure. Okay, so it's unique. So make it yours. In my case, I'm gonna put Saturday class Duniecki, okay, which is only mine. I don't think that there's no one in the world that has this bucket name. Okay, now if we hit enter and it says make bucket Saturday class Duniecki, it means that it's successful. Did it happen to you? Did this happen?
Yes.
So now if you come to the account, right, and you refresh this page, you're gonna see that Saturday class Duniecki is created.
Can you go back on your console?
Yes.
Yeah, so you put the make bucket, and you put S3 and...
One moment.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Okay. Sorry, I had to...
See there?
Okay, got it.
Okay. So guys, once you do this, hit enter, and then go back to your AWS account, and then S3, right? S3 here under storage. You can look for S3, click on it. It will take you to the S3 section, and then look for the bucket. You should have only one, and that's the one that we created. So if you were able to create the bucket, it means that your CLI is properly configured and everything was installed successfully.
Can you go back to the CLI to see the comment, please?
Yes.
I think I might have been missing probably a permission, because it says missing AWS _ secret access key. What does that mean?
Just go back to AWS configure. So type again AWS configure, and then reconfigure your CLI. Okay.
I think I did something really wrong because it says your account is not signed up for S3 service.
Okay, because probably you never gave the user administrator access.
I thought I did. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing.
You know, if your user doesn't have administrator access, you cannot do anything with an S3 bucket.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, help me out. I thought I gave it. Like, I thought I got the user. How do I check, please?
How do you check that? Okay, you can go back to the user. I am here, right? I am, and then go back to the user that user that you created. Click on it and see the permissions. If he has administrator access, then you're good to go. If he has this guy, you can do everything, you know, allowed to do everything in every resource, and that includes S3.
How do you get to that? Because that probably is what I'm missing. I never did that.
Under users,
User?
on the users, click on the user.
Okay.
And then permissions. Administrator access, click this arrow, and then you see the permissions there.
Okay, let me check that.
Okay.
No. I'm gonna have to share my screen. Sure.
Share your screen real quick.
Yeah. Sorry.
Guys, if you're done, then let's break for lunch. Let's break for lunch.
Oh, I don't think. Can you see my screen?
I cannot yet. So let's break for lunch and let's be back here at 1:30. How about that? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you can't see it. Why?
1:30. Okay.
You all at 1:30.